All right, guys, welcome to Dropping Dimes. I'm your host, Flavo Rihanna, brought to you by Four Corner Sports. All right, guys, so let's just get to it. Yesterday, we ended up having a huge melee in the Motor City in Detroit, Michigan, against the Detroit Pistons, against the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, the Lakers were coming into town. Only time they're going to go into the Motor City this year because they're a West Coast team. West Coast teams go to the East Coast once a year. Same thing with the East Coast going to the West Coast once a year, facing each team in each conference. So this is the one and only time that the Lakers were going to go into the Motor City, and the residents of Detroit were going to be able to see LeBron James come into town. Now, what an interesting game, because I didn't watch the entire game. Was able to watch, a little more like a condensed version, but it was more of like a bully type of basketball. I like how Detroit is playing. They got some good pieces. Your Grants, you got Cade Cunningham, who hasn't really been playing that great in my opinion. But I mean, look, it's just year one for him. You have Isaiah Stewart, and I'm gonna stop it with you right there because Isaiah Stewart is I never would have thought about it. I know he had a little incident with Blake Griffin when he was standing over him when he was playing against the Nets. But Isaiah Stewart and LeBron James are the headline. Yes, the melee that could have been, something huge. That thank God that it didn't end up escalating to where, people would have got seriously hurt. But yes, around the third quarter, I think it was around like the 7-minute mark, if I'm not mistaken. Detroit was already leading at that point. It was like 77-66 or 78-66. They had a pretty good lead, in the third quarter. But, Jeremy Grant was shooting a free throw, makes it in. And you have Isaiah Stewart side by side with LeBron James, trying to get the rebound in case, Grant misses. He switches it in, all right? But in that type of a process, I guess Isaiah Stewart ended up roughing up LeBron James in a way that LeBron didn't want to be roughed up a little bit, because when you're boxing somebody out, you got to put your man muscles into it. You have to make sure that your opponent is not going to try to get the rebound over you. You have to box him out. And LeBron got a little frustrated and ends up cocking his, I had to look at the replay like at least a good 7 times. It looked like, LeBron James ended up cocking a closed fist, on Isaiah Stewart. I don't know what landed first. Could it have been the elbow? I mean, the wrist? Could it have been his fist or the forearm? It wasn't the elbow, all right? Because, after watching a numerous amount of UFC fights, he definitely would have been, bleeding severely, if the elbow would have connected flush, but it didn't. Look like it may possibly been like the forearm, and it hit him right in the eyebrow area where there's not that much skin, tissue, and so you're obviously gonna end up bleeding, a little bit more than expected. And man, oh man, I mean, Isaiah Stewart went down to the floor, ended up pressing LeBron. I don't know what was said. Okay. Anthony Davis says that LeBron said my bad or whatever, something along those lines. And once both were being separated, Isaiah Stewart wanted a bull rush towards LeBron, and that's when when they were both being separated by all parties from the Pistons and the Lakers squad. When everybody started to gather around, that's when you saw Isaiah Stewart try to bull rush LeBron, and LeBron ended up backpedaling. He ended up going behind the ref, and man, it was something. It was something for sure, because LeBron James didn't do anything. He had DeAndre Jordan as his muscle, guarding him, who was standing in front. You had Russell Westbrook, who wanted all the smoke, okay? And you saw Isaiah Stewart proving that he wanted all the smoke. I mean, he was being restrained by Cade Cunningham, by a couple coaches. I think Dwayne Casey as well, head coach of the Detroit Pistons. He was being restrained as much as possible. And Isaiah Stewart, backed up a little bit, turned around, and then just started bull rushing people, bull rushing through coaches, bull rushing through referees. Cade Cunningham had to grab him by the hip and try to hold on for him for dear life, because at that point it looked like Isaiah Stewart was definitely gonna try to come after LeBron, and who knows what would have happened. All right, I got a little bit of backstory on Isaiah's background. Kid from Rochester, New York, has a boxing background. I believe he started doing boxing around like the 8th grade or 9th grade. So the man knows how to defend himself. And who knows? Who knows what would have ended up happening if he would have put hands on LeBron? I'm not like, LeBron made himself look bad, in my opinion, by hiding behind the ref and allowing his teammates to do more of the dirty work and stuff like that. That's one thing I really didn't like about LeBron, is like, why hide behind the ref? You did a dirty move. You ended up closing your fist and then cocking your arm back, hitting Isaiah Stewart in the face. Okay, one. When you're trying to box somebody out, you shouldn't be having your hands this high up, okay? J-Will, what's it called, did a phenomenal demonstration on what goes on when you're trying to box somebody out on the free throw line. And usually if you're gonna be this wide open, you could cock somebody in the ribs, for making them leave their arms wide open, their rib area wide open, by keeping their arms up. But if you're going to try to hit somebody in the face, it's more intentional than anything else. And it looked like LeBron James definitely got very frustrated with the way that Isaiah Stewart was playing. Now, Isaiah Stewart, looks like he's trying to put his name out there as that he's trying to be that enforcer for the Detroit Pistons, which I'm fine with. I think that we need that more in basketball, because basketball has gotten very soft as of late. All right, we have gone through the transition of the James Harden rule, where this year it's gone into effect, where in years past James Harden or other 3-point shooters would try to pump fake and then lean into you, right, to get the foul called and get whatever, a 3-point shot, 3 free throws at the free throw line, or 2 free throws, anything to get 3 points. All right. But Isaiah Stewart, this guy's all man. He's 20 years old. He definitely wanted everything and more with LeBron James. Okay. And it just looked like a punk move by LeBron. Now, I'm not saying that he's a punk or anything like that. I'm just saying, well, I don't know about that. But I'm just saying that his actions definitely did demonstrate that, he didn't want anything to do with Isaiah Stewart. And then, as Isaiah Stewart, like I had mentioned before, he was stopped by Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham had to hold him by his hips to make sure that he wasn't going to burst right through DeAndre Jordan to get it to LeBron. He had to get restrained, and he got told to go to the tunnel, go to the locker room. And the man goes through the tunnel and tries to come around and try to, get around, security and try to come after LeBron again. Now, I haven't seen stuff like this, all right, since, I don't know, it's been a while. I would say the incident between the Nuggets and Knicks, that was another bad one. It was like Nate Robinson and Carmelo Anthony. That was a bad incident. I think J.R. Smith was also featured in that too. I wouldn't even call the Rajon Rondo Chris Paul situation. When Rondo was with the Lakers and Paul was with the Rockets, I don't think that was that bad. I would say, Nate Robinson, when he was with the Knicks, and Carmelo Anthony, their dispute was pretty bad. But maybe nothing to that level. I would say I really wouldn't want to, compare it to the Malice of the Palace, but I would say it probably got as close as that, if anything. Because just the way that Isaiah Stewart ended up running over coaches and officials trying to get his way to LeBron James, I mean, that showed right there that, you know what? I guarantee you most players in the NBA are not going to try to test out Isaiah Stewart. The guy's a young pup. He's 20 years old, all right? But he just shows that, you know what? That he just wants to bring the toughness, and he will show you that he's more man than you. And the fact that he did it to LeBron James, just screams out that, hey, you know what? This guy is not a boy to be messed with, and he's gonna be a real problem if you try to rough him up. All right, this guy has a lot of Zach Randolph in him. All right, very mean, very aggressive. It's like a Zach Randolph, Kendrick Perkins type of attitude, where he won't take what's it called, from anybody. But yeah, I love what I saw. I think this was great. The Detroit Pistons haven't got any type of national publicity since, I don't know, since the Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Ben Wallace days. Now getting to the question: does LeBron James and Isaiah Stewart deserve to be suspended? I think yes. I think that they both deserve to be suspended. I think LeBron James, in a realistic fashion, I don't think he gets suspended because I think he's the golden child of the NBA, the face of the league. I think if he does get suspended, he's probably gonna give him maybe about like one game. I think personally, in my opinion, I would like to see LeBron get suspended 2 games. For Isaiah Stewart, because he ended up causing a big scene, because he was showing more aggression than anything else, I don't like it, but I would say I could see them giving him 3 to 5 games. 3 to 5 games and showing him, that he can't be acting like this, and if he does anything like this, then, the suspension is going to be higher and more severe, okay? And obviously he won't be getting paid because of the suspension. But yeah, LeBron James, it showed me a lot of character about him. Yes, I know that he wasn't gonna probably do anything because it's on the court and stuff like that, and I know a lot of people try to defend him. Oh, what do you expect from him? He's on the NBA court. He's not gonna swing at anybody like that. Yeah, but you saw what he ended up doing in game 5 of the the finals in 2015 when he stood over Draymond Green. He instigated and he insinuated in that type of action, causing Draymond Green to kick him in the groin. So LeBron James has known to instigate in the past, all right, and him causing this cheap shot doesn't surprise me whatsoever. The only thing that surprised me was that he ended up hiding behind the ref, and people like Carmelo Anthony, who were waiting for Isaiah Green to come out the other side of the tunnel, saying that he won't get through me, showed me that, that you have other people on that team like a DeAndre Jordan, like a Russell Westbrook, like a Carmelo Anthony, who have a little bit more dog than LeBron James. And you know what? They really do try to protect the king, LeBron James. But as for Isaiah Stewart, probably going to get it close to 5 games, of a suspension or anything like that. Probably going to get like a very severe fine. And LeBron's probably going to get a severe fine, maybe 1 or 2 games. I'd say more 1 game than anything else. It's going to suck for Knicks fans because Knicks fans are not going to go to the Garden and see LeBron James play. But if he does play, it's because it's a business, and the NBA does realize that, the Knicks are in a better situation than they have been in years past. So you should allow the Knicks to, you should allow New York City to see LeBron James perform at Madison Square Garden. But yeah, guys, that's my take right there. Guys, let me know what you guys think. Should LeBron James be suspended, and for how many games? What about Isaiah Stewart? Is Isaiah Stewart gonna be one of the more feared people in the NBA? What did you think about the incident? And also, what did you think about LeBron? Him not trying to really, stand toe to toe with Isaiah Stewart, and was it wise of him to stand behind the ref? Until then, guys, I am Flavo Oriana. This is Dropping Dimes, and please hit that like and subscribe button, guys. Really helps out the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace, guys, and have a good one.